Welcome once again, boys and girls, young and old. It's another edition of Good Health by Claudia, a podcast with me, Denny Schaefer, a production of Denny Radio. Here is your star, Claudia, and it's episode 122. 123.
Nice.
We're kicking them off and rolling. And thank you to everybody who supports this, everybody who shares this.
Yep.
Especially the little shorts, because some people's attention span, that's all they can deal with. Here's what I know. You're going to learn, you're going to grow, and your life is going to be better. Boom. I'm living proof. Okay. I'm doing a lot better ever since we started doing this podcast like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, last week we did the episode on sleep, and I wanted to ask you where you're at on naps, because after the episode, I took a nap. Where are you at on naps when it comes to sleep? I mean, obviously they must be okay, right? Because there are some cultures that you take a nap every day. What's your thoughts on naps?
I think naps can be helpful.
I love naps.
A lot of people, especially as they get older, they want a nap.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people that, especially if they're retired and they don't have to be here or there, I think a nap is a good thing.
Yep.
It's, I don't know what the so-called sleep experts would say, but
yeah, well, you know what? I'm glad that I brought it up, because some people might feel guilty with taking a nap. Don't feel guilty.
yeah, no.
I used to get up at 3:05 for decades doing morning radio, and I took a nap every single day.
Right.
Because I had to, because I
Right.
was exhausted. But I was only getting like 5
naps
hours a night. So
Yeah.
So when's the last time you took a nap?
Oh, I don't know. It's been a while.
The 70s? All right, today, equally as important. I mean, every one of our episodes are important.
Yeah.
And you get a well-rounded, topics to hopefully improve your health, because if you don't do it, it ain't going to get done.
Nobody else going to do it.
And your doctor is going to want to drug you. And we are all about don't get drugged, get nourished.
Yay.
That's what we're all about. Today we're going to talk about, very important, brain health.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't look up fun facts on brain health, but I think common sense will tell you, with all the issues we have with mental health and everything that's going on,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're not taking care of our brains. Would you like to elaborate on that, or do you have any insight?
Well, I think it's a very fair statement. And the biggest thing for me is the breakdown of the food supply in this country. I mean, human beings are supposed to be eating real food. And look what most children are being raised on. They're being raised on non-food. And it's sad because it's affecting them. Sadly, Western medicine drugs them. And then, society deals with the end result of a lot of the, all the handouts for a lot of these meds that they're putting these kids on tell you the serious adverse effects of these meds. So brain health has to begin with food and what somebody is drinking. We always say that the brain starts in the
gut, baby.
Starts in the gut. The neurotransmitters, the majority of them are being produced in the gut. And if you're giving your body nothing but sugar and junk and fast food and white bread and all this nonsense, of course it's not going to be able to produce the tools it needs properly. And a lot of people come in, they're dealing with brain fog. We hear it all day long. Brain fog is a big issue for a lot of people. And
how do you explain brain fog? For me, it's like things that I know, but I can't remember what it is. And I just say it's age. Is that brain fog?
Well, a lot of people will come in and tell me after they eat a certain food, they can't think clearly. They just can't focus, and they can't get their thoughts together. To me, that's brain fog. Now, there's probably other parts to brain fog, but that's what we hear a lot. So, I had a guy tell me one day, he drinks all this pop, and then, he tells his wife he has brain fog. He can't think clearly. Well, you can't live on pop. So it's all about how we nourish this machine. And remember, the brain's here. It's not some separate thing. Western medicine's always make it sound like the brain is somewhere else. No, it's part of this machine. And what feeds it has to come through us through the gut to the brain. So I'm going to talk about some products today. And again, I'm doing basics because when you look at, so when you hear neurotropics, nootropics, neurotropics are supplements that feed the brain.
Okay.
Okay. And it's a growing, you hear more and more people talking about neurotropics. I like to start with basics, as you know. So we're going to start with the omega-3s.
Oh, take these.
Omega-3s, extremely important. They're considered essential fatty acids because we need them for human health, but we can't produce them. So this is why cultures before us were getting these good fats through their food, salmon, eating fish.
Oh, I love fish.
Whatever they were getting. Now, remember, grass-fed cattle, the meat ends up with a more balanced profile of omega-3s as opposed to a cow that's being raised and they're not being able to graze and everything else. So everything is a cycle. Everything is connected in the human body. And so the omega-3s are extremely important. DHA, there's two parts to the omega-3s. There's EPA, which is for the heart, and there's DHA, which feeds the brain.
Okay.
DHA is extremely important for everybody, and especially children, because we know clearly through research, it's very important in brain development. So we have companies that make DHA products specifically for babies and small children. They're very, very important. So remember, a lot of the kids these days, you know, they're not at their best because they're not being fed the best and they can't function the best. And a lot of times when a child is acting out or, you know, fed something, sugar, red dye number 5, and then acts crazy, they say it's the kid. Well, it isn't the kid. It's what was fed to the kid and how it's affecting their brain. So omega-3s are extremely important. This particular one by Nordic, great company.
2150 milligrams of EPA and DHA. Now that seems high.
Well, some of them are even higher.
Really?
Yeah. And when you look at the DHA alone, it's 875 milligrams of just DHA,
which is less than the EPA, which is 1120.
Well, a lot of times because in the natural, a lot of people will come in and say, what's the difference between omega-3s and cod liver oil?
Okay.
So the food source, the cultural food source that has been documented in different cultures around the world, they were eating the whole food. And in that, let's say cod liver, what's in there is vitamin A, vitamin D, natural occurring, vitamin A, vitamin D, and the omegas. Now, after all these years, since they isolated the omegas, a lot of the companies manipulate the levels. So we have some products that have twice as much DHA, but not as much EPA.
Okay.
So it's natural breakdown from what I've learned over the years. This is what I've been told by researchers in cod liver oil. The natural breakdown is higher EPA than DHA. After all these years, now these companies manipulate those levels. And we have, I should have brought it, we have a product that's just DHA for children, and it's a very high level. So DHA feeds the brain. It's very, very important for protecting the brain. All the fats, the lipids that we're going to talk about today for brain health, they're very important for protecting the brain cells, helping to develop the neurotransmitters. That's how the brain, you know, those are the signals of the brain. That's how it talks. And they're very important for the structure of the cell. So we're not just taking them for the fun of it. They're very important tools for a healthy brain.
Okay. This
All
is
right?
a biggie.
Always with food.
Always with food. Boom.
Next one, the one I talk about is phosphatidylserine. Now, phosphatidylserine is another fatty acid that's naturally occurring in the human body. A lot of research on phosphatidylserine. And the first product ever years ago that we had on the market in our store, it was called ADD for children. And the FDA made the company change the name. They
because
said
of attention deficit disorder.
Yes, exactly. So, but it was a phosphatidylserine, and actually it was Natural Factors. Now that I'm saying that, it was this company, and it was a wonderful product, and we were selling it for children. Well, it was a chewable. I think it was a grape flavor. We still sell it. And the parents would start chewing it with the kids. And a month later, 2 months later, over time, I'd have these parents come back and say, wow, this product is really helping me think better. It's helping my memory. It's helping it feeds the brain. So remember, it's a lipid, which is a lipid is a fat. And it is nourishing the structure of the cells in the brain, and it's protecting the brain. So in this day and age, with all the toxins, the brain needs to be protected. So phosphatidylserine, no contraindication that I've ever learned of with this product, or the omega-3s. Some doctors tell people not to take omega-3s. I don't know why they're doing that. This is a basic of human health. So
because they want to write a prescription because they are bought and paid for by big pharma. Again, just my opinion.
So this is another one, phosphatidylcholine, another lipid, another good fat that feeds the brain. Now, choline is a B vitamin. When you see it like this, phosphatidyl, it means it's crossing the blood-brain barrier and it's helping to nourish the brain. The reason I'm showing choline, all of a sudden, I don't know if there's somebody out there doing podcasts on it or articles, but we're having all these people over the last month or two coming in for phosphatidylcholine.
Really?
So, yeah. So this has been around many, many, many years. And of course, I didn't bring it, but many times we've talked about lecithin.
Oh, yeah.
Lecithin naturally contains phosphatidylcholine. That's why lecithin is known to be supportive of the brain, the nervous system, and it supports the liver and how it handles fats. So these are all three very important good fats for the brain. Take them with food. I have some people that take all three. I take phosphatidylserine and omega-3s every day. I don't do the choline.
I take omega-3s.
I do lecithin every day. I have for years. I think I've talked about this before on one of the episodes. Well, all the years ago when I worked with Pat and Joe Bassett, they put everybody on lecithin, everybody. And back then it was in, mainly granules. And they used to order these big barrels. They would get like, I don't know, it was like 150 pounds a barrel, and they'd order 3 a month.
Wow.
And anyone that would remember Westgate that came in there to shop or eat in the restaurant remembers those barrels in the front of the store. That's what they were. It was all lecithin. So Pat put everybody on lecithin. And because of that, I encourage everybody, take lecithin. It has very important value for the human body. And one of the things it's doing is it helps the liver handle fats and oils more effectively, which is very important. So
you started working at Bassett's at age 16. How did you ever get the gig? They weren't hiring 16-year-olds back then, Claudia.
Because, my mom raised us on herbs.
So she shopped in there.
And
so she knew them.
We had a friend that was he was cooking. He was the chef at the restaurant. And he said, well, you want to come work? I said, absolutely. So I just turned 16.
You're in high school.
And I'm in high school. I actually started at 15 at Best Buy. Remember, what was it called? Best Buy. It was down on Secor.
Buy,
where they sold all the electronics.
Yeah. It used to be there. I don't think it's there anymore.
They needed someone at Christmas, and I was printing tags on this big computer, which when I think about it, is just hysterical because I am the worst
at computers.
At computers. Me and technology, we don't get along so well. But that's where I started, and then by the January, February, I was working at Bassett's.
Yeah, it's true. I've seen her cuss at her phone. Seen it.
I'm not real good with technology.
She's good at cussing, though.
All right.
I'm kidding.
This is GABA.
Oh, yeah, I take this.
So GABA, and you see, what's it say right here? Relaxation and focus. So GABA is an amino acid that helps produce a neurotransmitter. So GABA is a neurotransmitter as well as an amino acid. And GABA is very calming. A lot of people love GABA. And actually, when we did the sleep episode last week, GABA could be one of those things that people take at bedtime because it's calming. And we do have some sleep formulas. I didn't bring them for that episode that has GABA in them. So remember, GABA is a very important amino acid and neurotransmitter. This particular one is a chewable. They're not all chewables, but people love this product, so I grabbed it.
What's the flavor? Grape?
I don't know.
'Cause
What's it
it's-
say on there?
I don't know. Because it's purple. So I figured it was good. It
Whatever
just says chewable.
Yeah. So GABA. Now remember though, with all these wonderful products, the amino acids that help brain function and neurotransmitter activity. If you're on an antidepressant or an anxiety or something like that, you can't just start taking something like GABA. So it's a wonderful product for people that are not on any meds. We've had many, many, many people over the years wean off the meds that they're on and they go natural. And when you do that, GABA would be a great product to use for anxiety and stress levels. It's very calming.
After.
Right, right. And the last one I want to talk about, this is bacopa. And
At the Copa.
bacopa is an Ayurvedic herb. So it's indigenous to India and some areas of China, but mainly India is where Ayurvedic medicine has come from. Just like Chinese medicine has been documented 6,000 years back, Ayurvedic medicine has been documented about 4,000 years back. So it's a wonderful product, and it's been documented to calm anxiety. So it's very calming. And a lot of people with brain health, it's not just that they need to change what they're eating and bring up these good fats that we're talking, the omega-3s and phosphatidylserine and all these other good fats, but this issue of stress, it's really affecting a lot of people, and brain is in a chronic, they probably have high cortisol. Well, we're not talking about cortisol right now, but it's all part of the chemical imbalance that occurs. So bacopa, and again, I don't know of any contraindications with bacopa. It's a great product. What does it say on that front? What does it say there?
It says empowers clarity of thought for mental alertness.
For mental alertness.
Non-GMO.
So this is a good product to take during the day. When you're at work, when you're at school.
It says 1 caplet per day before food.
Yep. So I wanted to throw that in. We've had some wonderful feedback on bacopa. A lot of people have not heard about it.
First I've heard of it.
Yep. But I wanted to throw it in there. So
I've heard of this company though.
Well, Himalaya, that's, we saw a lot of Himalaya, family owned. I think we did an episode with some.
I want to say we did too.
We did. And I
got a lot of brain fog.
Well, after 120 some episodes,
did I mention we're on 122? 122. 122 brain health.
Yeah, we're proud of that.
Yeah, we are. Most podcasts don't last this long.
And I didn't
Just
know
saying.
that. I've had other people that do podcasts or know podcasters tell me that not everybody makes it to 100.
No, most don't.
I guess I didn't realize
We're at
that.
122.
Right on.
And we're going
Give me
strong,
There
baby.
we go. Yep.
Dab it up.
So
Dab it.
that's what I wanted to go over for brain health. Again, there's a lot. There's acetylcarnitine. I could have brought that. There's a lot. I don't want to just throw a bunch of stuff at you. Again, you start simple. And of all these products, if you're not on omega-3s, that's where you need to start. And remember,
omega-3s.
not all companies are testing for heavy metals, and this is an issue. All the companies we sell, well, there's the leaders in the whole fish oil business. Carlson and Nordic Natural and Wiley's, they've been doing Now Foods, they've all been doing it a long time. They all test for heavy metals. That's very, very important because, heavy metals is an issue in fish. And what we don't want when you're trying to nourish our brain is to be taking in more heavy metals, aluminum and mercury and whatever it might be. So starting with the omega-3s is a good place to start. And again, remember, fats and oils should be taken with food.
There you go.
One other thing I want to
stay
mention.
away from the heavy metals, the Megadeth.
Some of the
That's
products.
a band reference.
That I knew. I
Okay,
didn't
you
know
knew that?
even though I
didn't know which metal. I was going to say Motley Crue, but then I thought, okay, no, that's not as heavy metal as Megadeth.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know the kids.
I think, I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry.
But there's a couple products that we talked about last week on the sleep episode that will also help if you have you know, if your brain is always churning, racing thoughts, the homeopathic that we showed for the nervous and anxiety, that's one of the symptoms it addresses is racing thoughts. So when we talk about what helps sleep and what helps brain, there's a crossover with many of those products. So keeping the brain calm and nourished is the goal.
Boom. Don't get drugged, get nourished.
Don't get drugged, get nourished. And
all right. So what causes the brain fog? Is it a lack of sleep, bad diet?
I think it's a lot of things. They're
What is
finding that hormones that are, you know, imbalanced hormones can cause brain fog. Of course, we've seen it for years in health food stores with food, you know, because it was easy to see over the years. Somebody would eat something and then they'd complain they couldn't think straight. So there's a lot of things. There's the toxins are adding to brain fog. So it's a lot of stuff in modern times that are leading into mental imbalances. And it's very sad because we see what's happening in society where there's a lot of people struggling with what's called mental health. And until they start putting people on nutrition instead of drugs, that's when it becomes health, is when they're nourishing. We had, I'm going to throw this in a sideline. I'm not going to say who did it, but there's a rehab center that this was several years ago. The head of the person that ran it was sending their patients dealing with drug issues and alcohol issues to the store so we could put them on things to nourish their brain. And they were seeing improvement. And after about a year, apparently, the bigwigs from the company came in and told the woman heading the thing, you cannot send these patients to the health food store anymore. That's not what we do. You need to stay focused on the meds. Well, you know, it's fair to say this country is being strangled by meds and pharma. And when we see, and this is, you know, this is all from life experience, true life experience. We actually had a family that brought in a 2-year-old diagnosed with depression, 2 years old. They wanted to put her on Prozac, and the family was so angry, and they should be, but it's not uncommon to see these kids being drugged at 5 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old. And how disrespectful to them.
Horrible.
How disrespectful to the health of their life. Anyway, it gets me all wound up because we deal with it at the store all the time. So anyway, nourish yourself, leave the drugs to somebody else, nourish yourself, change what you're eating, drink clean water, do things that you can do to nourish your body, nourish your brain. You will be very happy that you did. And especially for the children, do it for your children. Do it for your grandchildren. Take these things seriously. If you're feeding them red dye and blue dye and all these goodies and the junk food, remember, those are all petrotoxins affecting their brain. What they need is not that. What they need are DHA. So that's the scoop.
Good stuff. I love it. All right. Anything else?
No, for now.
Share the podcast, people. Please do that as always. Share the shorts. Lauren, she feels really good when you share. And we do too. And like always, I'm giving you the last word, Claudia.
Well, thank you. You know, I'll always keep reminding everyone, keep the faith. There's a lot going on in the world. Send good energy, man. Send good energy. Send your heart. Share love. Share kindness. Share generosity. That to me is the greatest way to impact there's so much negative energy going on. We got to raise it up. We got to send goodness to it. So just keep the faith, everybody. Count your blessings, focus on them. That's where the joy of life is. So anyway, peace.